Witajcie na kanale Miłość! Kanał o rozwoju podświadomości, świadomości, rozwoju duchowym i rozwoju osobistym. A o kim to jest podcast? O tobie, o tobie, o tobie i o tobie. I o mnie też. I o wszystkich innych osobach, które pojawiają się przed kamerami. Tu się może wydarzyć wszystko. Bogactwo, radość, spokój, miłość. Cześć! W dzisiejszym odcinku Julianna Bloodgood, Embodied Voice Practice. Ta kobieta uwalnia mój głos. Grzybem bądź.
That was fun, Jay.
Wy nie widzicie miny Olgierda.
You want me to be a tree? You want me to be a bird? What do you want? You want a dog? You want a dog?
Devil.
Oh.
I see you.
Thank you so much. That was really fun.
Będę robić teraz bardzo zabawną rzecz, czyli w rozmowie z Julianną będę się switchować. Będę mówić po polsku do ciebie. Ja normalnie mówię do ciebie po angielsku.
Tak, to jest bardzo dziwne dla mnie. I'm going to speak in English because that's my language of communication, of the highest communication.
Yes, ta sytuacja jest dla nas nowa, ponieważ to będzie pierwsza rozmowa, gdzie ja mówię po polsku, a ty mówisz po angielsku i się rozumiemy.
We're gonna try. Wow, it's exciting. I don't think I've ever done this before.
Me neither, which means ja też nie.
Super.
Super, więc jestem przeszczęśliwa i zaszczycona, że dzisiaj jesteśmy razem gospodyniami odcinków, gdzie mam możliwość pokazać szerszej publiczności to, co my robimy ze sobą, skromne 2 razy zrobiłyśmy do tej pory i jeden duży warsztat. Byłam na 2 sesjach indywidualnych i na jednym warsztacie organizowanym przez Juliannę ja upraszczając powiem, z emisji głosu. Ale gdyby powiedzieć, że Julianna zajmuje się emisją głosu, to by było bardzo duże uproszczenie i za mało z mojego punktu widzenia. Za mało. Uproszczenie. A shortcut.
Shortcut.
Or generalization.
Yeah,
to say that
okay,
you're doing like
vocal emissions.
vocal emission.
Yeah.
Nauczyłam się od Julianny, że moje ciało to instrument. Że mój głos, mój dźwięk, który wydobywa moje ciało, zaczyna się w zupełnie innym miejscu niż mi się wydawało. I dzięki Juliannie mam większą świadomość, skąd mówię, jak mówię i jaką mam skalę możliwości, jeśli chodzi o wyrażanie się. I teraz można by pomyśleć, że emisja głosu to jest praktyka, która potrzebna jest piosenkarzom, piosenkarkom, a zupełnie nie jest to prawda. To jest coś, ja poczułam intuicyjnie i spotkałam Ciebie intuicyjnie. Wybrałam się do Ciebie intuicyjnie, zupełnie nie wiedząc, dlaczego do Ciebie przychodzę, nie mając celu współpracy z Tobą. A kiedy przyszłam i kiedy się spotkałyśmy już po raz pierwszy, to opowiedziałaś mi o teorii, która była już w moim ciele obecna, a nie miałam w ogóle świadomości, czyli przywróciłaś, może wyciągnęłaś z podświadomości do świadomości to, co ja już umiem zrobić. Tak, dmuchnęłaś w moje skrzydła. Jeśli chodzi o to, co jest naturalne. Więc to, co chcemy pokazać, co ja chcę pokazać, co razem chcemy pokazać, to coś takiego, co każdy z nas, absolutnie każdy z nas już ma. Pamiętam, jak powiedziałaś, że głos jest bardziej unikalny niż odcisk palca dla każdego człowieka. Więc to, co nam potrzeba tutaj, to właśnie zwiększać samoświadomość, jeśli chodzi o dźwięk, o możliwości do codziennego wyrażania się, swoich potrzeb samych, swoich potrzeb. Poproszenie kogoś, tak? Wydobycie dźwięku nie na zasadzie może nie powiem, tylko właśnie zwiększenie pewności siebie, żeby mówić, żeby wydawać dźwięk, żeby wyrażać emocje, żeby wyrażać nawet radość w sposób totalnie otwarty. Mogłabym mówić dużo, ale bardzo mi zależy, żeby nawet nie żebyś ty mówiła, ale mi zależy, żebyśmy coś też robiły, więc ćwiczyły, robiły, pokazały w praktyce, jak to jest, więc co? Więc tak cię po prostu zapytam na luźno już. Czy chciałabyś to jakoś skomentować, co mówię, czy może już po prostu akcja?
Yes, I would like to, I'd like to talk a little bit about what you've said and to add on to it a little, and then we can try some different things. So for me, the path of a voice is really the path to ourselves and to living a fully embodied life, actually. And a lot of people come to me seeking out like vocal liberation, or they feel that their voice is stuck or blocked or has been stuck or blocked since, as long as they can remember. And so what I try to offer people is like a path to that liberation. But it's so much more than just opening up a voice or having a powerful voice or a beautiful voice. But for me, voice is about identity as well. And it's about what we say in this world, what we have to say as individuals in this world and how we say it in this world. And it's about coming into a deep and very intimate contact with oneself, with one's emotions, desires, with all of expression. So if we think about like expression.
Pięknie w ogóle, tak.
What is expression? How do I express myself? And I feel that the voice is a metaphor for how we express ourselves in artistic or interpersonal ways.
Ale wyciągam jedno zdanie, które jest dla mnie nowe, że to jest narzędzie do zwiększenia, szukam czasownika, do zwiększenia intymności ze sobą samym.
Yeah.
Bo do wyrażenia to było coś dla mnie oczywistego, zanim tu przyszliśmy, ale jak powiedzieć, i w dowolności, do uwolnienia, o tym też mówiłaś, też było to dla mnie zrozumiałe. Ale do bycia intymnym ze sobą?
Yeah. And the voice is incredibly intimate, and I think that this is why a lot of people feel this kind of like block in their expression, because when we release our voices, we release what is inside of us. We release our
głębi.
Yeah, from our depths. I mean, it's like we feel things here, and then we bring them to life here. And whether it's our pain, our laughter, our pleasure, these kinds of things, the whole rainbow of experiences of our human existence can be and must be expressed with our voices. I mean, imagine laughing without sound. Imagine making love without sound.
Dla mnie nie.
No, it's not possible. Yeah, or crying without sound. And actually, a lot of people feel this kind of suppression.
Ale to jest bardziej typowe. Można, tak, płakać bez głosu.
Yeah.
W kinie.
Yeah.
Idę do kina, coś mnie wzrusza, to nawet jeśli pozwalam sobie na łzy, to nie pozwalam sobie na szloch, tak? Bo to jest piękna scena, coś mi przypomina, coś odblokowuje w ciele, a ja...
And you're holding it, and how much tension and effort it takes in the body to hold in the cry, actually.
Tak.
And it's true, when cries are meant to be voiced, they're meant to be liberated, emotions are meant to be liberated. And much of the reasons why our voices become blocked or like locked or stuck inside of our bodies is because we're not allowed to liberate those sounds in the communities and cultures and families that we're brought up in. We're not allowed to liberate. We're taught from really young ages that we cannot be so loud, we cannot be so emotional, and we learn how to suppress and stifle these.
Musimy poczekać, żeby coś powiedzieć, tak? Poczekaj, nie teraz. Dorośli rozmawiają.
Yeah.
Powiedzenie,
Let the adults speak.
Tak, powiedzenie, dzieci i ryby nie mają głosu.
Yeah. Children should be seen, not heard. I was told this. I was told that I was too emotional, I was too loud, I was too sensitive, I was just too much. And so I developed a mechanism within my body actually to prevent my vocal expression.
Nawet jak teraz o tym rozmawiamy, to ja dosłownie czuję, że mi się tu tak jakby tego...
Yeah. And it's like...
Takie warstwy w środku tak się ruszają, tak, wreszcie mnie widzisz!
Yes,
Mam okazję się uwolnić!
And it can feel this way, and we can feel an enormous kind of like excitement about the possibility of that liberation, but it can also be extremely scary because it's like
For the first
time. Pierwszy raz.
Dziękuję.
Because I think people feel that like if I release what I have inside of me, like there's so much inside of me that I will overwhelm myself. It will be like a flood that takes me over. But the truth is that most of the time it is actually a process of freedom and liberation. And I see this again and again in my workshops, and I've been so lucky and blessed to have worked with, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people or something, like hundreds and hundreds of people. I often encounter people who have a huge fear of approaching this space of emotional and vocal release. And it's like they want to, but then something stops them. They want to sing out with their longing, their loss, their grief, but something is stopping them. And this moment of like starting to gently release, and also with the support of other people, going through the body, feeling sound vibration. And when the voice is released, especially with the emotional content, it's like something is liberated from them. Like something bursts free, and it's like a surprise for a lot of people who maybe if they haven't encountered something like this before, it's like, oh, I didn't know I could feel so relieved, so free. So I think that it is a process of liberation. It's a process of like claiming identity, and a process of connecting deeply with oneself.
Ale jak przypominam sobie sama siebie, jak przyszłam do Ciebie na sesję indywidualną, to jak pamiętam siebie, byłam bardziej nieśmiała przed użyciem swojego głosu, przed podążeniem za ćwiczeniem, które proponujesz. I zastanawiałam się, jak to brzmi, przetwarzałam, o Boże, słyszę dźwięki, których nie znam. A kiedy przyszłam do Ciebie na warsztaty, a więc byłam w grupie osób, które były w tej samej sytuacji co ja, więc czułam połączenie z grupą, miałam większą śmiałość. I tutaj wracam do tej intymności, o której mówiłyśmy przed chwilą, że właśnie ta intymność sama ze sobą i ze swoim głosem jest taka właśnie przed uwolnieniem, jest zawstydzenie.
Like it's inside of you? Like what is that?
Zawstydzenie, being ashamed, being shy,
Yeah.
sometimes embarrassed.
Yes.
Jest więcej słów po angielsku niż po polsku.
Shy, ashamed, embarrassed.
And in Polish wstyd.
Like also self-conscious somehow.
Tak.
Yes, it's like with the voice, it's we are always judging the way we sound. And sometimes, but the truth is, the human spectrum of sound is like phenomenally large.
Ale właśnie pamiętam, jak na przykład sama, ja nie śpiewam, ale robiłam dużo wystąpień publicznych i dla mnie obejrzenie siebie nie jak wyglądam, tylko jak ja siebie słyszę, to było, nie chcę siebie słuchać.
It's really, really hard for people. And also because, the sound that we hear is different because in our own ears because we're hearing it through the filter of our bones, through like the internal and external, and then when we hear it, you know, through a recorded realm, it is different. So we have this sense of like
Is that me?
Yeah, exactly.
Mam taki głos?
Yeah, and it's really, you know, one of the most important things that I try to encourage people, especially in the individual, my long-term individual students, it's like give yourself one gift, one promise that you will never judge the way you sound, and that you will practice and sound and give voice without judgment. It's like truly one of the kindest things you can do to yourself, because it's like taking that inner child that was always told to be quiet, or if you were told, oh, you've got a terrible voice, you're not a singer, blah, 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 blah.
Ja to słyszałam.
Yeah, and it's like taking that inner child that when you hear those things, something can close in you forever. And it's saying you are safe. You're safe to create sound. You're safe to create voice.
My siebie oceniamy za wszystko, więc prośba do siebie, żeby przestać się oceniać za głos, za dźwięk. Jak my się oceniamy za, nie wiem, za wygląd, za to, co zrobiliśmy, za wydarzenia z przeszłości, na które nie mamy wpływu. Jest cała lista rzeczy, za które mamy się przestać oceniać. I teraz jeszcze dorzucasz, nie oceniaj się za dźwięk, który wydajesz.
It is exhausting. It's completely exhausting with how much judgment we have on, especially on ourselves. But I often ask my students, like, whose judgment is it? Whose voice?
Tylko moje.
And sometimes, like, where did it come from?
O, dobre pytanie.
And whose voice is it that's telling you it's not good? It doesn't sound good. Yeah. And if we
Racja, bo my, oryginalnie my, prawdziwi my, nie mamy oceny.
Nie mamy oceny.
Nie mamy oceny. Nabraliśmy ocenę ze szkoły. W szkole byliśmy uczeni oceny. Osoby, z którymi dorastaliśmy, rodzina nas w jakiś sposób oceniała. Nie ze złych intencji, tylko po prostu tak żyje świat, tak żyje człowiek, żeby dokonywać pewnego rodzaju oceny. Także jesteśmy tu po to, żeby powydawać dźwięki. Dzisiaj. Tak? Będziemy.
But of course we're going to.
Będziemy wydawać dźwięki dziwne.
Maybe, let's see, because I don't want to scare people too much, but I want to say something about these strange voices, because you know, sometimes when we go into the true like feeling, so the whole process of opening the voice, of course, first we have to look at the body, because the voice is our body. And I think that we've learned to separate these things.
The voice is our body. Głos jest naszym ciałem.
Yes. It is. The voice does not exist without our bodies.
Głos nie istnieje bez ciała.
That sounds great in Polish. One more time.
Głos nie istnieje bez ciała.
Yeah, I'm moved actually. And the voice exists throughout our body. And another reason why there's so much intimacy about sharing our voices, because it's like I am creating this vibration right now. It's inside of me, and it is released into the space around me, and it's literally touching your bodies.
Yeah.
And so there is this kind of like incredible sense of intimacy and when we are in the presence of voices.
W przerwie opowiadałam Juliannie o Reelsie, który widziałam na Instagramie, gdzie był taki jakby eksperyment, gdzie człowiek z węża ogrodowego wypuszczał wodę nad głośnikiem, który grał piosenkę Michaela Jacksona, która była bardzo specyficzna, bardzo dynamiczna, i ten prąd wody zmieniał się, podskakiwał, i to była przepiękna wizualizacja tego, co się dzieje cały czas, jak my rozmawiamy. Nasz głos, mój śmiech.
And you know,
wydaje te właśnie fale, wibracje.
And we feel it. We feel it. We feel the intention of voices. We feel the intention of anger, of love, of soothing, of laughter, of joy. We hear it, we feel it.
Poczekaj, w głosie jest intencja emocji?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We can absolutely put the intention in our voice. If I want to like...
Nie w słowie, tylko w samym dźwięku?
Absolutely.
Czyli nawet nie, że mówię jestem zła, jestem zła, tylko...
Yeah,
Okay.
you can have like a frustration. You can sigh out with like release of pleasure. And this is actually one of the best ways to begin to connect the voice and the body, is to feel the sense of pleasure, relief, release through sound. And it feels so good. And we're immediately connecting breath, body, feeling, sound,
Odbija mi
and
się.
activating a lot of internal processes.
Już to zrobiłyśmy, to co przed chwilą, już mi się zaczęło odbijać. Już odbijać. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say this in English. Odbijać. When a small bubble of air goes through.
Burp.
I'm sorry. Of course I know this word.
Yes, because we're working with the diaphragm, and the diaphragm przepona is just exactly above the stomach. Oh,
Przepona.
look, we have a little diagram. Well, okay, unfortunately,
Because ja nie wiem, gdzie jest przepona.
You know, yeah, unfortunately.
Pomożesz mi teraz sobie wyobrazić moją przeponę. Znaczy wiem gdzie jest. Ona jest tu.
Kind of.
Tu.
No.
Dlatego mam ciebie.
Yeah. And but I love that actually, because we have so many misperceptions of our own
Poczekaj,
bodies.
dobra, to na spokojnie. Gdzie jest moja przepona?
Yeah. It's getting closer. Yes. It's probably really painful.
Tam?
Is it painful there?
Yes.
Yeah, for a lot of people it's very painful. It doesn't have to be. Mine is quite loose today. But sometimes...
Tak pomiędzy żebrami, tak? Taki...
Well, this is an area where we can contact it, but check this out.
Okay.
The diaphragm, I love this, is connected to the entire circumference of the base of the ribs. So it's...
Powiedziałaś to teraz, że sama nie rozumiem.
Yeah, so the diaphragm is a circular, spherical muscle that is attached to the entire circumference
mięsień dookoła
of the base of the ribs.
Kręgosłupa.
Yeah, well,
żeber.
Żeber. And it is also very much connected to the spine. And it has even like...
Czyli po polsku. Przepona to jest mięsień, który jest pod żebrami, okala żebra, pod żebrami dookoła.
Well, it's a whole dome. It's a whole structure like this, let's say. But its connecting points are around the whole circumference of the ribs. So the ribs are here, here, and here in the back as well.
A w środku kręgosłup.
And in the back, in the center of that is the spine. But through the center is like, actually we have, entrances to our stomach, through the center of the diaphragm.
Okay.
And the diaphragm is sitting at the base of the lungs and right above the organs. So this guy doesn't have a diaphragm, unfortunately. But if he did, it would be right here. So these are his lungs, right? And it would be right here at the base of his lungs, right on top of the liver, the stomach, and, all the intestines. So what happens when we breathe, the diaphragm, it flattens and widens and presses down.
Idzie w dół, otwiera się, opada.
Yeah, it kind of flattens and widens. It doesn't do totally like this, but it kind of has like this action, let's say. And in that flattening and widening, the rib cage is expanding, the spine is expanding, and of course the volume of the lungs are filling with air, so the ribs are expanding. But really importantly, if we allow our diaphragm to do what it's meant to do and made to do, it goes down which of course pushes on all of these organs here, and then the belly goes out. So we're very self-conscious human beings, and we don't want to breathe with our belly, so we end up like, one of the things can be about...
Dlaczego nie chcemy oddychać brzuchem?
Well, there's many reasons. One could be because it's not aesthetically nice, like to...
But is it true? Like, czy to jest prawda, że...
Well, this could be one thing. There are many reasons.
Okay.
I'll get into them. Another reason is that when we are in stress modes, any kind of like a fight or flight state, our body will actually shut off a little bit the mechanism of the diaphragmatic breathing, and we'll start breathing more up here, like. And if you just start to like breathe without allowing the diaphragm to fully move, you can feel the stress and probably see the stress in my body.
And even in the muscles.
The shoulders and the muscles, everything becomes tense because we need to go into a more activated state. When we're breathing with the diaphragm, it sends a signal to our brain to a little bit down regulate, to like de-escalate things. So what I see you is a little bit like pushing down.
Teraz specjalnie.
Yeah, I can help you. Yeah? Would you like to lay down on the ground?
Tak.
For a little...
Tak.
The most essential aspects of this like return to our voice, or our vocal expression. And I say return to because really we're born with the natural ability for full expression of emotions, of sound, of like that body-voice connection.
Przerywam, bo to jest odświeżające, że my to mamy, że my się z tym urodziliśmy. To nie jest nauka,
It's not. It's a return to.
To jest powrót do tego, co zapomnieliśmy.
What we were born with. Yes, and what we have forgotten, and what we have been also, in a way, forced to condition and control and like make. And it's a return. But the return, it has to start with our breath, because voice does not exist without breath and without body. So we return to the breath.
Następne zdanie. Voice, głos nie istnieje bez oddechu i bez ciała.
That's true. That is absolutely it. So in the beginning of this process, it's always about returning to the breath and returning to the body, and also being able to feel and observe and notice when we start to block or dissociate or freeze within ourselves. And using some different kinds of tools, often of movement, to help to free the mechanism up. But for now, we're going to do a small little demonstration of the diaphragmatic breathing.
Okay.
And so oftentimes when I tell people, like, okay, take a deep breath, what they'll do is they'll kind of go... and that's kind of the idea. Or they might do like, which is maybe more associated with like calming techniques, or yogic breath, which is through the nose. But the crazy thing is, when we're talking about the voice, we have to allow our jaw and our mouth to open. Because as I'm speaking with you right now, and this is a natural process, I'm breathing through my mouth, actually. I'm taking breaths in and I'm expressing through my mouth. So I'm not, each time I take a breath, resetting by doing this. And so it's really difficult for people to learn how to do this, just to open their mouths. Yeah, like So now try to take that breath, but through the mouth. Through the mouth.
O Jezu.
Yeah.
Oddech przez usta?
Yes. Okay, but now relax the throat. Okay, on the inhale, relax the throat. So I still hear a little bit of constriction in the throat. You hear this? Like... You're actually like squeezing the throat.
Nie ma tam luzu.
Yeah. If the throat is open, you won't hear anything.
O! Poczekaj.
Yeah. And now,
No nie, no słyszę przecież, ale to jest po prostu dźwięk powietrza, co słyszę, tak?
yes, that's only the sound of
A
the
nie
air
tak-
that you hear. And if you are hearing this, like, all the tissues inside of my throat are constricting, and then I have no space or freedom around my vocal
O Jezu,
cords.
czyli mam Czyli jeżeli szukałam napięć w ciele, to jeszcze mogę sobie poszukać w szyi.
Very much, very much. And these are some exercises that we can do of releasing the neck and releasing the jaw.
Okay.
We'll do those a little bit later. But for now, like, if you can try to just relax the mouth a little bit. And of course, we need to breathe through our nose for a myriad of health benefits. But when we're talking about the freedom of the voice, this process has to be open. Beautiful. Yeah. And so, can I bring my hand to your ribs?
Tak.
That is a full body yes, thank you. So, okay. So like the diaphragm is at the base of your ribs here. And every time you breathe in, if you're allowing the function, the natural function of the diaphragm, it's going to go down and then try to relax the throat. So it's like almost that kind of silent inhale. You only hear the sound of the air. Yeah, it's really soothing.
Przez usta.
Yeah.
Nie przez nos.
Yeah, for right now, for this work of voice. Try to relax a little bit the jaw, relax the tongue. So
Rozluźnij szczękę, poczekaj, bo pewnego rodzaju abstrakcja odbywa się w mojej głowie. Rozluźnij szczękę. Czy ja kiedykolwiek... To jesteś chyba jedyną osobą w moim 39-letnim życiu, która mówi do mnie rozluźnij szczękę.
Oh my goodness. And I tell you, this is one of the most tense places on the human body.
O Jezu.
And I find that it is an enormous place of held emotions. Because imagine, every time you want to express something but you can't.
Czyli ile razy dziennie?
How many times a day do you want, or your body has an impulse to express something, but we're not in the right environment
Świadomie
to do
i
it.
podświadomie.
Yes,
I
subconsciously.
będziemy mieli
yes.
kilkadziesiąt razy dziennie? Nie wiem.
No, it's like, tysiąc, do you say? Yeah.
Dziesiąt, kilkadziesiąt, jak 50, 50. 50.
A lot, let's just say it. Let's just put it that way. A lot of times.
Tak.
And the jaw is a way of like almost preventing the final door to the channel of expression. So,
Szczęka zamyka. Czyli jeżeli... sami sobie to robimy. Teraz mi jest smutno.
it is a little bit sad, but it's also amazing that we can have this recognition and realization.
No właśnie teraz to mamy.
Yes, I know. So what I love to imagine and to feel and to think about quite not only imaginatively. The voice is like a channel through the body. Of course we have our vocal folds, we have our breath.
Dźwięk to kanał w naszym ciele?
Yes. And in my feeling and experience and process, it's something that begins basically at the pelvic floor.
Pelwik w miednicy?
And goes through the body, like you can imagine it like a river, and then comes out of the mouth into the world. And so we have to relax the jaw.
Ach, tak.
And I'll do
Relaksuj moją szczękę.
a very small massage of the jaw. And you can do this anytime you feel a little bit of tension. We can relax the base of the tongue. So try to let the jaw be soft and imagine the tongue just like going to sleep for a moment.
The tongue.
Yes.
Język. Idzie spać?
Yeah. Because the tongue is actually connected to I don't want to get too much into anatomy, but the tongue has an intimate connection with the voice. So if we're...
Język ma połączenie intymne z dźwiękiem. Ja to czuję, jak to mówisz.
Exactly. It's beautiful and it's powerful. And so if we relax the
Boże.
tongue, we're helping to open up the freedom of the channel of the voice. So now we talk about the channel of the voice. So, which is like ending here, because we want to open the jaw so that the sound can come out into the space. We want to allow the throat to be relaxed and soft and like an open corridor. Imagining the upper chest to be soft and open. Because if it's a channel, like through the heart to the mouth.
O, jeszcze przez serce idzie.
Absolutely. It's going through the heart and out into the world. And then
Jaka droga do przejścia.
a beautiful path. Jaka droga.
Jaka droga.
Yeah. So if we come back to the diaphragm, the breath as the central power to the voice, we want to make sure that the breath is free. So relax the jaw. Yes, and immediately I said relax the jaw, you did it, and the breath went down into the lower body. And you can feel, so remember, if the diaphragm is free, it's going down and pressing a little bit on the organs below. So you can feel the sensation of the belly expanding. So you might hear in a lot of different like methodologies, take a full belly breath. But the idea is that you take a full diaphragmatic breath and the diaphragm pushes on...
Przeponowy, oddech przeponowy. Oddech przeponą.
Yes.
Oddech przeponą.
Diaphragmatic breath, a free breath. So imagine the breath going down. Imagine the diaphragm descending. Yes. So diaphragm descends, belly expands.
Jeśli to robię, to automatycznie brzuch się podnosi. Nie możesz wziąć oddechu przeponą bez podniesienia brzucha.
Yeah, it's natural. It should be...
Nie możesz.
Nie możesz...
Nie,
co?
Czy jestem w stanie wziąć oddech przeponą bez podniesienia brzucha? Nie.
Not really, actually.
będzie tak.
It's like if the belly is not free and open, it's going to prevent like a block for the diaphragm to descend. So actually, like sometimes, you know, I need to do with my students, like for example, you know, this like releasing work of the belly. And I often have them do this themselves.
Okay.
Because it can be really like...
Sometimes painful.
Sometimes painful. So I'll teach people how to do this for themselves so that they can start to breathe with a free belly. So try to expand, yeah.
Czyli takie kółeczka na brzuchu, dookoła pępka.
Yes, exactly.
Dookoła pępka, takie jakby wciskanie palcy i dookoła.
Yeah. And then you can go to... Yes. So this is a place like the solar plexus. That is a place of a lot of tension for people.
A co to jest? Dlaczego? Skąd to jest to?
Well, first of all, this is like a gathering point of nerves here. We've got a lot of nervous system information happening exactly in this area. And also, it's a huge place of protection. If you start to observe yourself, if you have a moment of fear, it's like something like blocks and locks here.
I właśnie w brzuchu.
Yeah. The belly and the solar plexus.
Nie idzie w ogóle wyżej jakby.
Yeah, and it stops. Something is like a
Czyli
gate.
do takiego jakby strachu, tak jak szczęka jest ostatnią bramą, tak taka jedna z pierwszych bram jest tu.
Maybe it's not exactly the first, well, let's say it's the first gate is here.
Okay.
I like that. And the second or the
last
one is
ostatnia,
here.
tak.
Yeah. Of course, we can get into also the pelvic floor a lot. And
tak.
I think that you experience this a little bit in the workshop, this kind of like the power of connecting. And
czy możemy o tym powiedzieć? Wiem, że leżymy na podłodze, ale jak ty o tym powiedziałaś na warsztatach, to moją głowę to po prostu aż to było nie do wiary. Jak rozmawiałyśmy o tym, że dla kobiet miednica, kobiece genitalia, mówiąc wprost, cipka jest bramą do wyrażania siebie i tak samo może być zblokowana.
Absolutely. And not only for women, for men as well, but the anatomy, the female anatomy of the pelvis and the genitalia is like a mirror of the throat and the voice.
Lustro! O
It is
Nie bez powodu,
actually
to się
like-
nazywa czasem właśnie wargi, tak?
What is vargi?
Wargi, lips.
Lips, yes. And if you look at the anatomy of the jaw and the pelvis, the pelvic floor, very similar. The jaw, the anatomy of the genitalia, female genitalia, and the vocal folds, it's very similar. We have these mirror structures inside of ourselves. And the actual anatomy of the voice does indeed connect to...
I ty pokazywałaś, jak oddycha generalnie, tak? Jak to w takim... że się mięśnie nam podnoszą w taki sam przy oddechu.
Well, okay, so there's no like actual like squeezing of the muscles, but there is a natural process that happens with the pelvic floor, and I can show you for a second if you want. Like, I mean, just in the way that we are here. So I've got like, if I come to a squat, for example, this is kind of a funny process. I'm not sure if this will go in the video, but anyway, maybe it will. So like when I'm taking a breath with the diaphragm, the diaphragm is free. There's a process that's also happening in my pelvic floor. And you can actually see my pelvic floor moving right now. And there's a widening and a lifting of the pelvic floor that happens that is very much connected to the action of the diaphragm. So it's like widening and lifting as the diaphragm is descending. So actually you have this action on the inhale, like...
Na Twoich warsztatach ja się popłakałam, jak sobie uświadomiłam, że pewnego rodzaju blokady są również tam. Jeśli to jest lustro, to z mojego kobiecego punktu widzenia tam jest dużo do zobaczenia i do uświadomienia sobie, jak blokujemy się z dwóch stron. Jak ja sama, na swoim przykładzie. Jak ja sama blokowałam się, czy przez różnego rodzaju mechaniki, system, nie wiem, sprowadzanie moich dzieci na świat, droga, w której w sposób rodzę moje dzieci, kładąc się, kładąc się, a tak jak mnie proszą w szpitalu, żebym się położyła do pozycji porodowej, a nie urodziła je w sposób naturalny. To jest jeden z momentów, który powoduje, że mi zamyka moje usta.
Absolutely. You are forced to shut your mouth. That entry point to the world. This is another entry point to the world.
I teraz jest mi smutno.
Yeah. But you know, it's like we can...
Czyli to w ogóle teraz sobie też uświadamiam w rozmowie z Tobą, że mam do zrobienia pewnego rodzaju pracę, do dokończenia wyrażenia pewnego rodzaju smutku, który jest zablokowany tutaj. Zobaczyłam go po raz pierwszy u Ciebie na warsztatach, ale dalej jestem jeszcze jakby taka...
And it is a process, and it's like something can awaken, but it's something also that will evolve and heal with time, because we need always time.
Tak.
And it's you know, to have immediate results. Maybe you do have this moment of like, oh, I understand, something connects, it makes sense, but then the healing process itself is a process that takes time.
Rekonwalescencja wymaga czasu.
Yes.
Okay.
And I wanted to say one more thing about this, that oftentimes the voice can be blocked because of a trauma. So not only from the things that are happening in our childhood, but because of a trauma. And it could be like this, you mentioned like a birthing trauma. Many women who have come to me with blocked voices, they often have had sexual traumas. And that this is not a kind of coincidence. Not only was part of your voice, like your agency was taken from you, you know, someone took away your choice, for example, with the way you were forced to give birth. This is an example.
Czyli ktoś wybrał za mnie, w jaki sposób miałam wyrazić, wydać nowe życie. Tak jak wydaje dźwięk, głos, tak wydaje życie.
When you're robbed of your choice, somehow also...
Okradziona z mojego własnego wyboru.
Yeah.
możliwości wyboru, że ja mogę zdecydować, czy się kładę.
Yeah. It's taking away your ability to say no or yes. And so there is like someone a little bit took away the power of one's voice. So this is like, I mean, it can become there are so many different ways that the voice can be blocked or reasons why. So when we talk about the gates of the voice or like the kind of gates of the channel of the voice, the idea and the process and the long-term process is to create an open channel, a unified channel that is like I'm feeling my sound through my whole body and it can be expressed out into the world. And so when we can recognize where the gates are for ourselves, the jaw, the diaphragm, the pelvic floor, and we can start to work in ways that can help to liberate these spaces.
To na dzień dzisiejszy, na ten moment mam przywróconą świadomość tu, do miednicy, do przepony, do gardła, które się samo ściska, a wcale nie musi, i do szczęki.
Yeah, yes. And one place, what is between your diaphragm, your pelvis, your throat and your jaw, your heart.
No tak.
Yeah.
Jeszcze bym zapomniała o serduszku. Jak często zapominam o serduszku. Ale dzięki temu, co robimy i o czym rozmawiamy, przypominam sobie, jakie to jest potężne miejsce.
And you can even, do a very small like rub. I'm such an advocate. I really try to promote this like self-awareness of the body and self-touch and coming into contact. And if you give your heart a little massage and then put a little hand here and give a voice, you can feel the vibrations of your own sound in your body.
Wiesz co, to jest kolejny bardzo ważny moment, kiedy możemy rozbroić mit, że dotyk kojarzy nam się z seksualnością albo jest seksualny. Nie, dotyk to jest wyraz uwagi.
It's life.
Wyraz uwagi, zwrócenie uwagi, mojej własnej uwagi, zwrócenie uwagi na te części ciała, które dotykam.
And remember what we said at the very beginning about this path of the voice as a path of like a deep intimacy with oneself.
Tak.
And it doesn't mean sexual. It
Dokładnie.
can. It
Tak,
can mean,
tak.
but it can mean soothing. It can mean empowering. It can mean contact. I'm in contact with me. And when we're in contact with ourselves, we're present. We're present.
Kropka.
Kropka.
Jesteśmy obecni, jak siebie dotykamy. No bardziej, jak sobie właśnie jeszcze poczuję i myśl, to jest to wychodzenie z głowy do ciała. To jest ten moment, w którym moja uwaga jest skupiona na żebrach, które dotykam, na przestrzeniach. I okazuje się, że pomiędzy żebrami mogę znaleźć palcami miejsca, które bolą. Tu jest bardziej boleśnie na przykład niż tu.
And to look at those spaces, to touch into them, feel into them, and then as we would start to go, if this was a class, it would be like, okay, start to sound.
Czy wy się dotykacie? Możecie się dotykać, jakbyście chcieli. I to mówimy do wszystkich i do wszystkich mówimy. Za kamerami też.
And you can try to actually create sound while you're touching this space. Just like a pure sound, like you can sigh out, like without any expectation of sound. And then just try to bring one hand to or both hands to your heart, to your center of your chest. And we're going to take a breath through the open jaw, the relaxed throat, allow the belly to ascend. Try to, exhale, and then let this part be activated. And then just... And here, silent breath. Can you feel your vibrations in your chest?
Tak.
How does it feel?
Present, czyli obecna, że jestem w ciele. Jestem ze sobą. Nie jestem w głowie.
Yeah.
Tylko moja uwaga jest na tych właśnie tych wibracjach, które czuć pod rękami.
Exactly. Exactly.
I to jest niesamowite uczucie spokoju.
Yes. It's like a return to oneself in full presence. And that's like, just a little tiny drop. But in some ways it is like the, it's a reflection of the whole. Yeah. And there are so many exercises that we can do, but in a way, like, that's the quintessence of this process.
Czy to moment na te exercise?
What? You want to do an exercise?
Tak, chcę exercise, chcę ćwiczenie.
We did an exercise.
Wiem,
Yeah.
ale takie... To, co pamiętam z zajęć z Tobą, to jest na przykład coś, czego nie robiłam.
This is natural. We can move our larynx. Yes!
A to jest dziwnie wygląda, nie?
Yes, of course. It looks weird. It's okay. The larynx is cartilage. It's a cartilage structure that holds the vocal cords.
Olgierd chce, żeby było... Gdzie tu ma być? Bardziej?
Yeah, I mean, very lightly we do this. We don't want to, because it is cartilage, you can hurt yourself. But if you do it like kind of a massage, it's really relieving.
Z dźwiękiem czy bez dźwięku? Ma
You
znaczenie?
can do it with both. And so we can come to the jaw and massage the jaw.
Czy to jest moment, żeby kogoś tu ściągnąć, na przykład Julię? Dzień dobry.
Hi, Julia. Hi. Come join us for some vocal release exercises. So I think the theme of this class is about the channel of the voice, actually, and these different gates, as we're calling them, to our expression, or where along that channel something might be blocked or a little bit stuck, let's say. So we can start with the jaw. And if you locate, you can feel, how does it feel?
Nie mogę się rozluźnić, bo weszłam dopiero w kamery, więc
A czy to jest właściwe, bo to jest, jeszcze moje pytanie jest o miejsce, czy ja się dobrze dotykam w szczękę?
So, okay, I think you're touching a little bit your teeth, so it's like in front of the ears, here. You feel that lumpy spot there?
Boli!
May I? So like this space
Boli
here.
co? Czy nie?
Ale po tej stronie bardziej.
Yeah. I feel it more on your right side as well. And so you can usually feel like the very bumpy places are the places where we have a bit more tension. It's like actual knots that we have there. And so as you're doing that...
Taka klucha bym powiedziała, tak? Taka, nie wiem, czy rozumiesz klucha.
Klucha.
Noodle.
Noodles, little noodles. The noodles in your jaw.
One tam nie były od początku.
No, for sure
One się
not.
zrobiły tam.
Tak. And as you're doing that, if you just try to part your lips a little bit, it's a funny feeling because we don't do it so much, but a little bit this feeling of, when a child, for example, is really relaxed, or they're watching something that is fascinating.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's like this a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's actually very relieving to try this, Yeah. It might feel a little strange at first. And now, because we're working with voice, we have to breathe through the mouth. Nice. How did that feel? That little sigh out. Let's try it. Let's try it again. One more time. You feel a little more relaxed? Yeah. Yeah. So then let's take 2 fingers in front of the ear and 2 fingers behind the ear. Doesn't have to be too precise, okay? It can be a little bit awkward. 1 finger, 3 is enough. It doesn't matter which ones.
Dałam radę.
And so we're going to start to gently pull down.
A down.
Down.
W dół.
But at the same time, so it's like we're pulling down. So we're working with the fascia, the pomięż.
Powięź.
Powięż.
Powięź.
We're working with the fascia. But so we have this
Nie, twarz. Nie.
fascia. It's like the connective tissue underneath the skin.
Powięź.
Yeah. I think it's this one.
Olgierd, tak? My tu potrzebujemy profesjonalnego tłumacza.
So if you think about moving the skin a little bit, just like the space under the skin.
Okay.
And so we start to pull down, but at the same time we're thinking about our spine, the crown of our head, the top of our head. Yeah, beautiful adjustment. Almost lifting up. So if I pull you here, because we want the bone structure to be able to hold us up and the muscular structure to relax. And so we start to go down.
Czyli kręgosłup nas trzyma, kości nas trzymają w pionie, a mięśniom pozwalamy odpocząć. Aż mi się ziewnęło.
Yawn.
I to jest Julianna, która jest okej, jak na jej zajęciach się ziewa.
Please do. Please yawn. Because...
Ziewać, proszę ziewać.
Yes, proszę ziewać. Proszę cię.
Możesz ziewać.
But when we yawn, it's actually a little reset button for our nervous system. Brawo.
Zobacz. Jestem nauczona, że jak ziewam, to mam się zasłonić, bo to nie elegancko ziewać. A to jest naturalna metoda, żeby sobie pomóc, żeby się zrelaksować.
It relaxes the body, it opens the breath, it stretches the mouth and the jaw, and it resets the nervous system.
Proszę Państwa, kanał Miłość zachęca do ziewania bez zasłaniania ust.
Thank you very much. So, if you start the process of yawning, it actually means that you're coming in contact with your diaphragmatic breath and that your nervous system is beginning to relax. So these are all really good things. You're being loved by the plant. So we come back here. Our bones are holding us up. Our muscles start to relax. The jaw begins to release. And we start to go down the neck. And without lifting the chin up, but remembering the integrity of the spine. And we can even pull down a little bit the skin, the fascia, to feel that open throat. And remember the open channel.
Jakby otwieramy.
But it starts here. It's through the mouth and then goes down. Open. Yes, I see.
To jest w naturalny sposób uwalniające.
And bringing the hands right at the base of the collarbones. So we carry a lot of nervous system tension here for the stress responses. And we can give a tiny little rub, movement of the skin around the collarbones to signal you don't need to run. You don't need to fight. You don't need to flee. But try to still keep the pathway open, the channel open. But as soon as you do this, though, I immediately see the breath go down into the body deeper. Bravo. So we pause now at the heart, but we keep the channel open. And then we start to go down to the diaphragm.
O, tak. O jest.
And And I tell you, I promise you, it doesn't always have to be painful here.
Ale wiesz co, jak sobie dotknęłam teraz moją przeponę, to pomyślałam, że to taka zmęczona królowa.
Tired queen. Yeah.
A to takie piękne,
Yeah.
piękna część mnie.
It is a very beautiful place, and I felt when I first started to really activate my diaphragm and have deep like visualizations and contact through voice work and breath work, I felt like I was returning home. It was like that is the most center part of myself, the center of my diaphragm. It's in the very center core of my body. And to free that space was like coming into deep contact with myself.
No właśnie z takim środkiem, z centrum.
Yeah.
Chyba bardziej w środku.
Yeah.
Można być bardziej w środku niż w przeponie? W sercu.
Well, it's like, you know, the diaphragm and the heart, I think, have a like a common space somehow, like that like central line.
Wspólna przestrzeń.
Yeah. And we can start to rub into the solar plexus here, and even try to get our fingertips to go underneath the ribs a little bit.
Pod żebra.
And then we're going to bravo.
Brawo.
And then now try to take a breath with the released shoulders. The breath goes down into the place where we have our fingers. So then the belly is going to come out. And then we can just sigh out with a big sigh of sound. But try to create vibration, like a vibratory sound. So instead of just the full like release, like which feels really good, yeah. But what if you create a little bit like try with me, but breathe through the open channel. Beautiful, Julia. 2 more times. You can bring the fingers to the other side. One more time. Through the open channel. Nice. And now, because we did that very, very minimal diaphragmatic release exercise, approved. He likes it. We can try just to feel the nature of our sound right now. And let's give an O all together.
Okay.
And you can close your eyes so you don't have to think about anything. Put your one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly. We want to feel vibrations right now. We're going to take a breath in through the open channel. Let the diaphragm descend. Let's do again. And we'll just release on one tone. Open channel. Nice. How did it feel?
Wibracyjnie.
Vibrational. Full of vibration. How did it feel for you?
Nie wiem, jakby tak schodziło.
Like,
Może nie wiem, czy napięcie, ale tak jakby coś uciekało.
nice. Good. Yeah. And you seem actually like lighter and in your face as well. After 3 sounds. Not bad.
3 świadome oddechy. Ale nie, to jest więcej niż świadome oddychanie. Bo uważam, z mojego doświadczenia, mam dużo doświadczenia w słyszeniu, w zwracaniu uwagi na oddech, ale ty przywracasz moją uwagę do zwracania uwagi na dźwięk w trakcie oddechu. I to jest pełniejsze doświadczenie. Czyli świadomość oddechu to jest jakby dla mnie taki, powiedzmy, basic level, taki beginners. Powiedzmy, że chcę iść w rozwój osobisty, w rozwój duchowy, to najpierw interesuję się oddechem i przywracam świadomość do oddechu. A taki next level, taki trochę średnio zaawansowany, to jest oddech, ale z dźwiękiem. Oddech jako platforma dla dźwięku.
Yes. It's
tak jak powiedziałaś,
it's the vehicle for the sound.
Vessel.
The vessel. So, you know, like this incredible thing is like the breath is transformed to vibration.
Tak.
The breath is here. It's transformed to vibration here.
Dzięki ciału. Dźwięk się zamienia w wibrację dzięki instrumentowi.
Yes. So our bodies are
Mam,
an instrument.
mam ekscytację, gdyż ja myślałam o instrumentach jako o wiolonczeli, o gitarze, o flecie, o pianinie, a to mnie cieszy. Moje ciało jest instrumentem.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. So, yeah, you know, like I think, I don't know, how are you feeling? Like, I was going to say one more thing about this, about the mindfulness of this kind of practice, because I also find that that working with the voice is a path of mindfulness. It's like deep meditation, deep embodiment, relieving, releasing, and healing all together. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to say that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Tak. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we kind of had like a kind of a beautiful encapsulation of many concepts that came together in a really simple way. And in a way, I feel complete.
Jeśli chodzi o taki basic level.
Basic level. It was basic level. Because we can go to the next level, but it's like, you know, this is a really good starting point.
Następny level to by było, pamiętam to, ja nie pamiętam jak to było, ale to taki może taki ekstras do tego, co tutaj robimy. Pamiętam jak u Ciebie w domu, chyba na drugiej sesji robiłyśmy ćwiczenie, gdzie de facto ja miałam tyłek w górze, tak, to jest właśnie, nie wiem jak dobrze to zrobić, żeby to było dobre, żeby właśnie tyłek w górze i generalnie poruszanie, bo ja opowiadałam Ci o tym, że ja sobie to zrobiłam w pewnym momencie intuicyjnie, że po prostu, żeby właśnie poruszać moje zakamarki ciała, z których też się dźwięk może wydobywać, to intuicyjnie przyjęłam dziwną pozycję właśnie takiego jogowo nazywaną psem z głową w dół. Tak, teraz trochę mi ciasno tu, więc tak może nie będę robić profesjonalnie. Ale moment, że właśnie poruszam, jakby uwalniam sobie stamtąd w takiej pozycji bardzo specyficznej.
Yes, and also on the ground we do the rocking of the pelvis. I do a lot of rocking and shaking and.
To możemy to tylko jeszcze tak jakby taki ekstras, żeby pokazać, żeby tak może też co jest więcej.
Yes, so I really love to use some exercises that I've collected along the way that are helping to free and release us. So oftentimes, you know, maybe touch is not the best way for someone. But what I really love to do is offer exercises that come from like maybe different traditions or are combinations of different exercises or traditions of movement that help us come into the body to release the body. And I add sound with this. So the most important thing, these exercises should feel good. They are liberating, they're freeing. And you can allow your voice to go without thought. So now we focus on the body and the movement. And the voice is kind of a secondary expression of the release of the movement. Does that make sense?
Tak.
Tak. Kind of? Yes. So, I'm not going to touch you too much, but may I adjust you a little bit? Yes. So, you can let your arms come out to the side in a relaxed way. And just take a deep breath, release the jaw, release the body. Try to breathe, Monica, through the mouth in this moment. Remember that silent breath in and that release out. And Julia, you can bring your hand onto your belly. I'm not going to touch you because my hands are freezing. And you've got a bare belly there. So if you can try to, I'll bring my hand on top of your hand. Try to feel the movement of your hand when you breathe in. And just for a moment, try to lift your hand with your belly. Yes. And exhale. And try again. And sigh out. Lift the belly. This is only to kind of like activate the use of the diaphragm. But we really want this to be to become a free and a natural process. How does that feel? Good? Mm-hmm. Super. And now try to breathe and then sigh out. And I'll do it with you so you don't have to feel self-conscious. Let's do it together. Breathe in. One more time. Super. And now bring your hands. Actually, it doesn't matter where they are. The first thing we're going to do is a little point and flex of the ankles. So it's like we're going to do this with the feet. Mm-hmm. And we want to send a little pulse up the body. Now relax the head. Exactly, Monica. This is perfect. Very good, very good. Very good, everybody.
Czyli zapieram się na piętach, pięty w podłoże i bujam całym ciałem z tamtego miejsca jakby.
And this is coming from the realm of developmental movement. And there's a whole philosophical and practical and theoretical world of developmental movement. We just use the movement for now. You can let your hands come to the ground and try to key here. Relax the jaw and let the head kind of rock a little bit up and down. But it's rocking because of the feet, the action. Pulsing the energy through the body and sighing out. Every time you breathe in, let the breath come down into the body and then exhale. So if I take your feet for a second and you can just relax and I pulse you. Oh yes, great, this is nice.
There you go.
And
I to jest uwalniające. A nie spięte tyłki. Już.
And try to relax the shoulders. Let your arms be really free. Yes, 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 yes.
Ruszam się cały czas, tak? Ja?
Yeah.
Okej. O, tak.
Because you feel something when I do this. And
Życie czuję.
Exactly. And so now breathing in through the open channel, the relaxed throat, sigh out, like an unformed sound. With
Moja głowa się rusza, tak.
Yes, perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, and when I stop, you can release the sound. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to do the same thing to you, Julia. And when I stop the movement, you can just let your body give in to gravity and totally release like a sigh of sound. Here we go.
Jestem z tobą. Ja też jeszcze się bujam.
So you're just sighing out, relaxing, releasing. Through the mouth, relax the jaw, relax the tongue, the throat. One more deep breath in, and then exhale, release the movement and fall into the ground, release the sound.
A do końca tak.
One or two more times. And just to find yourself in stillness and silence for a moment and feel what has shifted inside of you, what has moved inside of you. Beautiful breath, ladies. to try another exercise and continue. We build on what we've already done. So you can feel the state of openness beginning, a little bit of vulnerability, and allow this to stay for a moment and through the next exercise. So we're going to start what's called a lateral shift in the pelvis. So it's like we're going to wiggle the pelvis from side to side. Mm-hmm. So I'll show you a little bit. Yes, like this. You're a natural. And so this is creating a kind of like fishtail movement up the spine. Beautiful. And moving the head naturally like it is. Monica, perfect.
Dzieci i ryby głosu nie mają, czyli teraz jestem jak ryba i dziecko w jednym.
Yeah, beautiful, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, and so going into this like freedom. Feel the movement going down the legs. So it's originating from the pelvis, right? You're shifting the pelvis
Z miednicy jakby się
from
zaczyna,
side
tak?
to side. It's going down the legs, into the feet even, up the spine, into the skull, releasing the chest and the arms.
Jula, nie widać cię w kamerach, leżymy na podłodze. Możesz robić wszystko.
Wiesz, jak dżownica.
Nic nie widać. Mamy zamknięte oczy, nie ma.
Yeah, you can close your eyes, focus on the movement of the pelvis more like here. Yes, yes.
To robisz jakoś tak, ja też tak chcę.
And keep on breathing through the lower body. Let the diaphragm open. Open the gate of the diaphragm. Open the gate of the throat, the jaw. Sighing out, like just like letting it go. All the things from your day, all the stress, all the thoughts, letting them go.
Tak, z dzisiaj, tak.
Breathing in, sighing out. Yeah, and take another breath in, stop the movement, relax, sigh out with sound. Letting it go all the way to the end. Relax jaw. One more breath. And then just be breathing with an open, released mouth. Feeling the vulnerability of a relaxed jaw, soft and open throat. Feel what has moved in you. And I will introduce a tone, and you can join me on this tone just to feel, just to express. Eyes closed. Feel where in your body you feel vibration when you create this tone. Go for another couple of breath cycles, and bring your hand to the places where you actually feel a sense of vibration. body around, stretch with awareness of equipment around you. Yawn and stretch and twist a little bit. And roll to one side. Bring the knees up and rolling over to one side.
Tak, spanko! Dzisiejszy odcinek nie będzie miał końca. Dzisiejszy odcinek mówimy po prostu dobranoc. W sensie nie ma puenty. Dobranoc.
And you can gently help yourself to come sit up. So this is like a really, really tiny touch of course, much longer processes. But I'm curious what you experienced for the first time doing something, presumably for the first time doing something like this.
Muszę zebrać myśli, bo aktualnie się wyłączyłam.
O, tak! To już jest pierwsze. Dobra.
Co poczułam? Spięcie, ale to ze względu na... I ciężko mi było mimo wszystko wejść w ciało, ale jak już tak wchodziłam, no to tak, no właśnie luz. No i te właśnie wibracje, ale przede wszystkim jakbym, ja że nie mam takiego głosu, nie wiem, nie miałam potrzeby tak wydawania tego głosu, tak głośno.
Actually making sound.
Yeah.
She didn't feel to make a sound.
We kind of like jumped you into a process that probably needs a little bit more of an introduction, because it's like to kind of go into that experience needs a little bit of more time, but you might be feeling first sense of relaxation, and with relaxation you don't feel the desire to sound, but like those little sparks can happen in a more subtle way and with a little bit more time, I think.
Probably yes. Because
Probably yes.
I think I need to work on that, and but it's jest to właśnie miałam po angielsku.
Okay,
It's really relieving. Yeah. No. Na pewno właśnie tak, że w sumie jak samą pracą oddechem może nie aż tak, ale takie właśnie, no właśnie to wypuszczenie głosu, że to już bardziej tak daje tą reakcję właśnie tego i jest ten luz, a sam oddech to tak niekoniecznie nie działa aż tak silnie, tak mocno.
Czyli dźwięk wspiera poczucie relaksacji. Relaksu, tak?
Bardziej myślę, że tych emocji jakby wyrażenia właśnie może emocji.
And it's a faster process into the body, actually, to use the voice. I started to do a kind of small research project with physiotherapists, massage therapists, to incorporate sound and voice into their practices. So we do this one-to-one research with like the osteopath and me, and we will the osteopath will do the practice on me, and I use my sound, and then I will do some practices on him, his same practices, and I encourage him to release the sound. And I remember these moments of like, oh my God, a revelation, because it would go so much deeper, so much faster, the effects of the physiotherapy with the use of sound. So I know that there's a whole like research field there.
Ale to jest brakujący element właśnie, tak? To jest ten następny level. Praca z oddechem robi dużo, a jak do oddechu dodamy dźwięk, idziemy po prostu o level, warstwę głębiej.
Yes, it's a deeper level and it's much faster.
I szybciej.
So the results or the intention of the manual work of the physiotherapist are actually, it's sped up the results with the use of sound.
Tym odkrywamy następne możliwości, następne drzwi, ale jak na pierwszy raz myślę, że możemy
zawijać, wrap it up, podsumowywać.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
Wydaje mi się, że to było śmieszne chyba, bo u Ciebie byłam bardziej nieśmiała, a przed kamerami miałam większą śmiałość, bo bardzo chciałam pokazać to, co ja się uczę dzięki Tobie, jakby tak bardziej poszerować do świata. Więc ja miałam taką większą śmiałość, na zasadzie zobaczcie, czy to widać, czy tu widać, czy tam widać, bo to jest tak, no dla mnie to jest, dzisiaj to poczułam, że ja się dostałam do serduszka dźwiękiem. W tej ostatniej fazie, co byliśmy. Ja w pewnym momencie, ja byłam na poziomie ducha mojego, że jestem właśnie, że to jest duchowe, że
Exactly.
No, że jak już mam świadomość w sercu, że ten dźwięk przechodzi przez serce, to już było duchowe doświadczenie.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you. And I think that this is like from my perspective and also working with you, that this is a kind of like introduction, let's say.
Tak.
Because there's so much more that has to do with song, singing,
Tak.
speaking, improvisation. So it's like how we can bring, first it's like how we just free up the instrument. And then it's what do we do with that freedom? How do we express with that freedom?
Także mam poczucie, że dzisiejszym odcinkiem, dzisiejszą sesją, dzisiejszym czasem po pierwsze pokazaliśmy miejsca, o których się nie myślało w ciele. Pokazaliśmy możliwości, o których się na co dzień nie myśli. Ja nie myślę na co dzień. Więc otworzyliśmy drzwi do takiej większej świadomości, która mówi o łączeniu ciała z dźwiękiem. Juliannę można znaleźć na Instagramach. Napisać do Julianny, żeby korzystać z jej mądrości i doświadczenia w sesjach, czy to właśnie indywidualnych, czy to warsztatach, bo warsztaty robisz często i w Polsce, i za granicą. Także jak ja będę Cię śledzić w Twoich social mediach, tak jak już to robię. Więc cóż, więc ja na pewno się z Tobą spotkam, jak nie tu ponowny raz, to na sesji i one-on-one, bo to jest zupełnie inny wymiar takiej intymności właśnie. One-on-one to jest przełamywanie dla mnie pewnego rodzaju wstydu sama ze sobą, a na warsztatach grupowych to jest dla mnie nabieranie siły grupy i wspólnego głosu.
Yes.
Także
both are necessary but different experiences.
Bardzo dziękuję Tobie, bardzo dziękuję Tobie, bardzo dziękuję Tobie, bardzo dziękuję Tobie za to, że byliście.
This is a very beautiful experience to be able to share the first odcinek. And yes, so the work that I do, I call it Embodied Voice Practices, and I'm Julianna Bloodgood, if I should mention.
What a beautiful name.
Bloodgood, it's a real name, by the way. So, bye!